All right, so what are we doing? We are taking these, and I have not grown anything in these for a couple of years, dump them into the wheelbarrow. I'm gonna get some chicken manure. Well, I'm gonna go over there and get the manure from underneath the chicks, and also there's a lot of aged manure. There's manure that's been sitting in there since last year. I'm gonna take these pots, dump them into there, get some of that manure. I've already put some in the bottom of it. So you see a little white spot right there. That's probably some chicken. That's some chicken manure right there. Anyway, take some of that manure, dump it in there. Kevin, well, Kevin, chicken manure is not good fertilizer because the nitrogen's too high. Yeah, that's right, guys. That is correct. That's why we're using older chicken manure and manure from the chicks. We're not going with the fresh stuff from the big chicken house. All right, guys and gals, we've got chicken manure. Just go ahead and get your hands on the side there. Look at that. This is aged chicken manure with fresh chicken manure. This is fireplace ashes right out of the smoker. It's got good cherry, hickory, pecan, oak, just all kinds of stuff. And also, see this pine straw didn't come out of the smoker. What this is also ashes straight out of the smoker and ashes that have been scraped out on the ground. Been sitting on the ground for a little while. We've got some chicken manure in there already. You see some little feathers and stuff. I've decided not to use any commercial made fertilizer. This project of growing the tomatoes and the peppers are going to be strictly organic. So let's take a few minutes to talk about this, guys, about the chemical composition and what the nitrogen and the chicken manure and what the not bone meal, we don't have any bone meal in here, and what the fireplace ash are supposed to do. Let's take this bag of fertilizer right here. I bought this to spread around my fig trees. Very low grade fertilizer. Standard fertilizer you would use would be like 13, 13, 13. And then, let's see, got me some eggs. We're gonna be using those as fertilizer too. All right, guys, so what's the first number mean? That is for big, leafy, green, like corn. Corn, lots of nitrogen. Turnip greens, mustard greens, spinach, anything that you want to do a large leaf with. Now, nitrogen would not be that important to tomatoes and peppers. Second number, bone meal. Now there's other names for it, phosphorus, whatever. Just bone meal. This is for your root crops. Potash. This is what does pods, like peppers, beans, peas, anything with a pod type that you want to harvest would be the third number. Nitrogen, tall, root crops, and then finally pods. And I covered this on a blog post of mine about fertilizer. What if your plants are growing? If somebody, let's say I took a 2100, 2100 and put it on these tomatoes, I mean, they would grow huge. They'd probably grow 6 feet tall. Peppers would probably grow well, they already go 3 feet tall. Let's say they grow 4, 5, 6 feet tall. They wouldn't produce a single thing. Too much nitrogen, not enough potash, and not enough bone meal. Bone meal also helps the roots grow. Anything underground, bone meal. Potash, above ground pods. So what we have here, we've taken that same philosophy of nitrogen, potash. We're not too worried about the bone meal and the roots because they're going to grow, but we're not growing potatoes. So that's what we have here, guys. We've got nitrogen, we've got potash. And so anyway, with this egg, what I'm going to do with this egg, these eggs came right out of my chicken house. I'm going to poke a little hole right there. I'll take that egg. Why am I going to poke a hole in it? Because these eggs will rot, and then chances are they're going to explode. Just go poof. I mean, it's nasty. It is very, very nasty. So, all right, let's get a screw, poke a hole in that, get this planted. All right, guys and gals, let's see if we can do this. Most people use a needle. Just poke a hole right there in the end. Hopefully we will not destroy the egg. Something like that. That's all I want. Providing calcium, trace nutrients. There we go. That's all I want. Just something just like that. Just something to poke a hole in it where it doesn't go kaboom. Take that. I may need to dig that down. Remember what learned in history class, what Indians used to do, Native Americans. And we've got here some big boy hybrid tomatoes. These are ones my wife picked out. Just want to take and put that right down there on top of that egg. Here, just an experiment, guys. Let's see what happens. I've been thinking about this for a long time. People put organic stuff in their garden for the plants to eat off of. So why not an egg? Why not an egg? All right, guys. There we go. We've got a mix of nitrogen, potash, soil, calcium, whatever else the eggshell has in it, the yolk of the egg, organic material that's going to be decaying inside that egg. It's not going to, with a hole in it, it's not just going to swell up and go kaboom, like rotten eggs do. It'll sit there and it'll decompose, and hopefully that tomato plant will be able to eat off of that egg and consume that egg as nutrients. Some of y'all may be saying, Kevin, that pot looks a little small for this project. And you're right, but it's not about the size of the pot, guys. It's about the nutrients that's inside the soil. That hopefully that chicken manure, that egg, ashes from the smoker, that'll really give it some nutrients. And also what I'm looking at here is kind of like square foot gardening, but instead of building a frame, all we're doing is using these old pots. So anything under the theory of square foot gardening, I mean, plants only need a square foot, and that looks like about a foot to me, or close enough. Same thing as before. Most people would use a needle, just a sewing needle. All we want to do is just something where that egg, relieve the pressure of that egg, so that whenever it starts decomposing, it doesn't build up pressure on the inside. And that way it can just continuously feed that plant. That looks a little shallow. Let's get down there a little bit deeper. I want that. This time we're doing a pepper plant, jalapeno pepper. Just want to be careful with these guys. Just be real careful. I used to tear these, but then it was like, well, if I tear them, then I can't use them to sprout seeds with. Like that one there is already tore. They're just so flimsy. All right, jalapeno pepper going in. Piece of bark. I'm just going to put that back in there. Let that bark decompose. All right, guys, and there we go. For those of you that paid attention to history class, some of y'all may remember how the Native Americans taught the Europeans how to use fish for fertilizer. They catch the fish and then plant the fish with the corn. And then the other crops, the three sisters, squash, corn, beans, peas. Anyway, that organic material is what helped them fertilize their crops. So that's all we're doing here with the egg, is we're just using that egg like no difference than Native Americans did with fish or any type of other organic material. Just gonna break that up. That's all we're doing. All solid eggs is doing, guys, is just providing organic material that'll hopefully break down as the plant grows, and then the plant will be able to feed off the egg. All right, but y'all seeing what's going on? No fertilizer. This was bought for my fig trees to go around it. Very mild fertilizer, 677. Usually it'd be, if I was growing squash or something, those numbers would be 13, 13, 13. Corn would be something like 16, 6, 12. All right, guys and gals. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed the videos. I'm gonna plant the rest of the tomatoes and peppers. I'll keep y'all updated, let you know how things are going. Talk to y'all later.